Hey, everybody. I know this is kind of a, hey, what are you doing? You chose a great time to come. This is Blue down here, the dog. I know this is another time to get online, so I'm not exactly expecting anybody to join, but I thought I'd just give a quick update on a couple of different things. A, what I've been doing, and B, what went down last night with campaign for North Africa. I've got some screenshots and stuff that I can show you, and we'll talk through that a little bit. But hey, stop it! But I thought we'd just get together and catch up. So please, by all means, say hello, so I can. Mo, what's up, bro? You're supposed to be working, dog, and so are you. Same with you, Bruce. Anyway, I probably should be working as well, but it's been a grind this week, trying to play games and kind of have a working vacation, I guess. So I'm enjoying it, but but I've decided today might be a day I take off. Let's see, how are we going to do this? So I guess one of the things that's interesting is when you're playing up here by myself is you can really get lost in a game and just without having that sort of pressure that I've got an hour or I've got 2 hours or I can slide in 30 minutes here and then you bounce out of the game and then come back. And so it's been pretty cool with OCS and MBT because I knew those systems. But what has been fascinating is yesterday I spent the time setting up Korean War and getting ready to start that. And then the Russia Besieged as well. And both those games I have not played Russia Besieged, but I have actually played Russian Campaign a lot. And so when I'm reading the rules, it's all very similar, but it's slightly different. So I'm a little bit hesitant to get started because I'm afraid that we're just going to start doing gameplay and all the rest of it, and it's going to be goofy and not work out right. And then with the Korean War, it's been so long since I've touched that as I'm getting into it and I'm playing a different scenario. So it's not the full campaign. It is a little challenging for me to sort of go, okay, I'm committing. So I've got to jump off the diving board into the pool and just get after it. So that's what's going on with that. So I'm here another 3 or 4 days, so I should get all of that done, and I'm pretty excited about doing that. Happy to see that it's Mo's wife's birthday today. All right, that's right. And you've got Dallas this weekend with all the Lock and Load guys. I wish I could be there, but this is pretty freaking fabulous, and I don't get to do this very often, so it's probably more important for my mental health than anything else. Anyway, let's talk about. And I'm sorry for the appearance, but I've literally just finished chopping some kindling and going for my little morning walk with the dog. The dog's got into this two bad habits. One, it's decided that it likes to sleep with me on the bed, and which was great last night because I went to bed, left the doors open, and it was 44. So I had like a one dog night, so he kept me warm. And then of course this morning at 6:30, he's like, okay, man, come on, let's go. So we went for our walk, which involves a stick and a 30-minute walk up the road and back on the dirt track and shit. So anyway, let's see. Kenneth, good to see you here. You're retiring. I'm so jealous. God, I wish I could retire. If my children weren't so damn expensive, I would probably think about that, and my wife, but don't tell her I said that. And Bruce, good to see you, man. All right, let's see. CNA. So last night we got on, and I'm going to flip off I'll put some pictures up in just a sec. Last night we got online, and there was 5 of us. Unfortunately, one person bowed out for the Allied side, so Clay is currently playing the entire Allied side by himself, but that's Clay, and you wouldn't expect anything less. And between all the rest of us, the other 4 of us are running the air war, the logistics. Got one guy doing logistics, and then there's 2 of us, 3 of us really goofing around with divisions and stuff like that. So let's see, it took 4 hours with probably half an hour, 45 minutes of some prep that we missed because, the air war, you got to allocate pilots to planes. Who knew? So we hadn't done that. And we also had to reallocate them to air bases and then separate out which guys were going to be scramble oriented and which guys were going to be mission. You have to allocate the missions before you start the air war phase, right? So there was a little bit of to and fro there. So if you take that out, there's probably a good hour updating spreadsheets and nonsense like that. So hey, BC Games, good to see you and Kenneth and Tony. What up, bro? I have some ideas for us, Tony, on how to execute DAC 2 faster. So we should catch up offline. So let's see. Let's call it 3 hours of gameplay. We finished a full turn, which was awesome. We're playing a 5-turn scenario. So I imagine if we can be consistent and play every week, when we're doing all the administrative stuff offline, so all the updates, and I'll show you some of the spreadsheets we've got. They're really freaking cool. I can't share them with you yet because they're not mine. I didn't make them, and I don't think it'd be appropriate for me to share them until I got permission from the guy who did them, who has played on and off bits and pieces of CNA before. So, but they're very, very cool and super helpful in terms of working out how to do stuff, which didn't mean that I knew what the hell I was doing last night. So let's have a look at some screenshots from Vassal, and we'll talk through some of the mechanics as I understand them. This is not a tutorial. I have to keep saying that because I get people are expecting me to, when I play everything, expecting me to do it right. And it's like, bro, it's just not going to happen. So I'm going to have to minimize this, aren't I? Let's see how we do this. Let's try an application window. It's not going to work either. Hang on just one sec. I'm going to open up an app so I can share the images, and I also want to share a spreadsheet. So let's do that. Find this folder, because this is pretty cool. I can walk you through some of the combat, and I can walk you through some of the, if I can look at these in order so I don't start at the end. View details. Let's just do this. Actually, let's do this. Let's see if I can actually make this work. Okay, open with something called, where is that stupid Windows app? Not going to do it. All right, we'll do it one at a time then. Open with, here we go. We're just going to use the regular Microsoft Photos app. Now let me hold tab back to me, and we'll share a screen. Bear with me here. And I'm not going to be able to see comments, I don't believe. We'll see here. Maybe I will. Application window. Gotcha. All right. All right. Now, so let me. I wonder if I can bring this back up so I can see what the hell's going on. Yes, I can. All right. So now you can see this screen here, and I'm going to make my little doohickey smaller so I can talk you through stuff. All right, this is really very cool. I have not successfully shared imagery here before. I'm trying to find a place. I'm on a tiny laptop, so usually when I do these things, I'm on my PC, and I've got like a 12-inch screen here that is making life very difficult. So let me just quickly check comments. Davis, hey buddy. Hey Davis, how are you doing? I love you too, bud. That's my son, who is home for a couple of days, and I'm very disappointed I'm not there. I wish you were up here, buddy. Mitch Land, we got the man himself. All right. Hey, yes, Mo, I would like to have a conversation about getting Silver Bayonet going again too. All right, let's have a look at this CNA stuff, right? So here's the dealio. You're opening, once you've, you spend, so you have 4 logistical elements. You have ammo, water, stores, and fuel. And with those logistical elements, every division or subunit has set amount of trucks that well, it's not a set amount because it can vary, but you have trucks that will allow you to transport all that stuff, and then you keep that on a spreadsheet. And I'm going to show you some of the spreadsheets in a sec. And then the first thing you do when you start a turn is you spend some stores, you spend water, and then you begin you go through the air fighting stage, and then you'll get to the movement combat stage, and that's when you then start consuming fuel and ammo, etc. So this opening stage here, what we're doing is the Italians elected to go all out with a bombing campaign, and that was fairly aggressive and also fairly successful because, as I'll show you if I can now, so we laid out bombers. And these are all predetermined, right? And then Clay had laid out cap for each of his formations, except for the one down the bottom there. And I think we actually changed. We didn't bomb the guys down the bottom there, the 11th Hussars. But I probably have another screenshot here. So he put his cap up, and then we would have to have, dogfights, and then the bombers go in and all that sort of stuff. And then Clay also allocated his bombing runs and things like that. So we went through that. So let's see if I can click through here and show you the next image. Okay, yeah, so in the top right here, you can see there's the fighters, and his fighters in red and our fighters in the sort of desert colors there. So we had a 2-to-1 advantage over him with our fighters because we sent heavy escorts. And that then plays out in each scenario, in each of those stacks that you saw. We had 2 fighters against his 1 fighter. So there's a number of factors that you look at. You look at the fighter's capability, which is in a table, which we now have in a spreadsheet for each side. And let's say that just his fighters had a rating of 4, for instance, and ours had a rating of 3. And then you have the pilot's capability that you've allocated earlier on that I was telling you about, and that can be from a 3 down to a 0. And in this particular case, this first fighter had a 3, so he had a 6 versus a 4. His fighter was let's call his fighter a 0, right? And so we had a +2, and you would look at a table and see that on the results table. But you've now got to look at the maneuverability of the aircraft, right? And so very closely aligned. And please don't ask me. I know that the Italians were the CR-42s or whatever they're called, and I don't know what we were fighting against. They weren't Hurricanes or Spitfires for sure. And so then that maneuverability adjustment, that delta is compared on a little chart. So like if you had a +10 difference in maneuver capability, so if you were fighting a bomber, and let's say I had our guy had a 28, right, and the bomber had a 5, you would get this massive differential, but it's reduced down to a sensible number in the column, which I can actually hold up the chart and show it to you if I can find it here. So you might get a +5 with a 28 versus a 5. And then here with a 28 versus a 27, you might get a +1, or there might be no modification. Nevertheless, that then gives you, you then tally up what the differential is. And that's pretty much how all the combat and stuff is handled, is by looking at differentials here on a table and then rolling 2d6 dice. So you've got that sort of, it's not percentile, but whatever that is called. So we needed a 22 or less to kill, and they needed a 12 or less to kill for the Allies. So obviously the Allies, they only had 2 chances in 36 of getting a kill, and we had a much higher chance of getting a kill. I'll spare you the details going forward, but you can see here that their fighters and our fighters all kind of got after it, and nothing happened. So we did that. There was a lot of 66s rolled. Thank you, Vassal Die Roller. So then, of course, then the bombers actually get to go in, right? So the bombers went in, and they had 312 air bombardment factors. And that goes on a ranged table. So I think that 312 was from 280 to 360. That's the column we were on. You make some adjustments, you roll 2d6, and it'll give you the number of pins depending on the type of mission you're running, right? So you might have been doing, interdiction or installation attack or whatever, but we were doing all pins. We wanted to hit his military fighting capability. So we actually, let's see here, we actually pinned all his guys. So I didn't show the result, but you'll see it in a minute. Now, his bombers went on a mission with no escorts. Unfortunately, we only had 4 fighters on scramble mode, or 4 that could make it on scramble mode. You got to roll to scramble, of course, because you roll for everything in this game. Now, this is where you can see we had high tactical capability. So that's kind of like your combat value of your unit. So 3, and then the pilot was a 3, so it had a 6, and theirs was a 2. But here's the thing: as we split all this off. Every bomber, so 1 fighter would fight against 3 bombers because that's the ratio. He's got 12 units here and we have 4. And so we would get shot at 3 times unless we shot something down. And then whoever has the highest rating, the highest differential, the lowest differential shoots first. So the disadvantaged player fires first, which I find very odd, and it's not explicitly stated in the rules that that's the case, but it is explicitly stated in an example. And I'm curious to see if that's an errata item. Nevertheless, we get this, so 3 bombers against 1. We had the better rating, I believe, so we got shot at 3 times, and out of all those, only 1 of our planes got shot down and 1 of his bombers shot down. And then he went in with his bombing run and did nothing. So it was a highly ineffectual effort. And I can't find my mouse because the sun is... Where the hell did my mouse go? Hello? Okay, we'll do touch screen. All right. So now, and this might be a little bit out of order, but once all that air stuff is taken care of and you've sent the guys back to base and all that nonsense and tracked your ammo and everything on a spreadsheet, you will... then we get to the movement phase, and right. So this is actually a combination of attacks. This is after some attacks, but here we go. Here's the bombing run he did. He did get 1 pin. He pinned 1 unit of mine with his bombing run, and so then I detached that formation. It's some camel jockeys. Detached those dudes, and then we moved down to where Maletti is there, and where that broken tank is. We attacked the whatever formation that is. I think it's the 2nd Royal Tank Regiment. So with an infantry division, we attacked a regiment of tanks. So 30 toe factors, which is our table of organization, or table of equipment. You choose how many factors you're going to fight with. You make adjustments for morale, and you make adjustments for size. And you can see, obviously, a division is much, much bigger than that's actually a battalion. That's why it's a +4. Regiment would have been a +2. And then there were a couple of column shifts for raw firepower, which is where we had the advantage. And then you roll. And then depending on how well you roll, low rolls are good here. You will get something in the order of no losses for the enemy, and they roll on their own table, right? Or up to 30, 40, 50% casualties. So that 15% loss tagged out to be a couple of tanks out of his TOE. So he would go to his spreadsheet, which I'll show you in a minute, and he would scratch off. Let's say he had 7 tanks. He would scratch off 1 or 2, and then we'd have 5. And then when he goes to next do his combat, he would then multiply 5 times his basically his firepower versus 7 times his firepower, right? You got it? So that's basically it, right? So we went through that exercise. You've got bombardment that happens before. You've got to choose whether you want to put your artillery forward or back. And depending on where it is, it will influence how effective it is. And given that the air war was so effective, we really didn't waste a lot of ammo on firing to try and get kills on steps or toes. We simply just said, let's get to combat, right? So we did that. Here, this is a second combat. This is my other formation, 2nd Libyan. So I've got 2 divisions. 2nd Libyan was not participating in this combat, but that's the Ariete there. I'm not sure. And I forget what formation that is as well. It's got a funky name. It's like the America division, America or whatever it is. They attacked these 2 pinned units here, got an engaged result. So that was kind of interesting to see how that worked. As you're resolving the combats, which here's what's really cool. Let's say you rolled and got some percentage of losses, but then you may actually end up capturing troops or what's the other thing? Or being engaged, I think, is what happens. And that result is the function of the 2 dice you roll. So you'd add them together. So if you rolled a 1-1, you would have a 2, and you would look at the row below the CRT. So that's pretty nifty. And then the same for the defender. When they add their 2 dice together, that's going to determine either whether they're engaged or whether they retreat 1, 2, or 3 hexes. So really super straightforward stuff. I know it probably sounds complicated because I'm talking through it, not showing you the things. But so here's the end result of combat. Oh, actually, no, that's not the end result of combat. We're almost there. 2nd Libyan got involved. Oh, yes, that is the end result because the Brits have retreated here from 1st and 2nd Libyan attacking them. So that's pretty nifty. You can see all these broken down tanks, right? So, or damaged tanks. Those are, as you move, you accrue breakdown points. And so you got to keep track of how many, this is concept of when you're moving called CPs, cohesion points. And that is going to determine how much fuel and how much water you use in a turn. And you compare that number of hexes you moved, you sort of movement points, let's call them movement points, but they're CPs, number of CPs you spend in a turn. Let's say you apply that to the terrain you went through, and that's going to generate a number of breakdown points for you based off a little table. And then you're going to roll dice at some point in the turn, you'll roll dice, and that will tell you how many tanks break down. Fascinating, right? Of course, being CNA, what do you get to do? You get to go recover those tanks and try and repair them, but you can also go recover the damaged or abandoned or broken down enemy tanks and put them in your formation, which I think is freaking awesome. So that was so cool, just seeing ship break down. So my Italians, I've got in that Mileti division, I've got a battalion of tanks attached to it, and they did not break down at all. So they were awesome. But then we had some other breakdowns here. So we're going to try and capture all of those tanks that are around us. There's 2 or 3, maybe actually more, 4 British tanks broken down there that we're going to capture next turn. So once again, let's see, as he retreated there's more breakdowns occurred. And then let me see if I think that might be the last photograph. Yeah, it is. Okay, so now let me close that, stop sharing, check in on comments. And so that at that point there, you would stop the game, do your updates on how for each combat that you went through. Make sure you got your losses tallied. You do your breakdowns. You spend your ammo for the attacks that you did based on the number of toe points you used. And then any advances after combat are going to spend more of those CPs. And then you don't want to get into a situation where, let me just I'll tab back to here. I think we're back here together now. So I think and so you don't want to spend too many of your what am I trying to say? Too many of your CPs, because it has a deleterious effect upon you. All right, let me now just check in on. Let me see. Yeah, that's actually killed when you do Kenneth. When you do air and you hit. Or is it bombardment? May have been bombardment. When Mileti bombarded the enemy tanks, you conduct a roll against the tanks, but then you also conduct a roll against the trucks that are in the hex. And so we killed a truck there, right? And I think I lost a truck as well at some point. So I'm just going to I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm just looking at the comments here real quick. All right, so let me see if I can quickly share now. The one primary spreadsheet, if I can find it. Yep, right here. Look at me. Bear with me. I'll bring this up. I don't want to update that, but I'll show you Group Mileti, and we'll do that. That'll be cool to see, I think. Stop cam, share an app. Nope. Share a screen. Share an application window. That looks like the right one. Oh, I'm not sure how well you can see this. And this doesn't look very good. I may have to zoom in for you, but let me just, and also make it full screen. That'll probably help, right? Let's get rid of that. Close. All right. Now, and this is, goes into the geeky parts of the game that really require some patience, which I probably don't have. But I don't know how visible this is for you, so let me zoom in a little bit. 120. So Tim, who put these spreadsheets together, there's one of these for every division, right? So Gruppo Mileti. You've got this CP allowance of 10 that you start out with in every turn. So I'm not sure if you can see my mouse pointer or not. And then you by tracking the number of CP you use and then the number that you use in attack and defense, it'll tell you how many you've used of that initial allocation that you have for this division. And I'm at a detriment of 2 because I spent 12 in total. And I had 6 breakdown points based on all my movement. And I actually had a victory there. That should be a 3 now. So you can see if I change this from 7 to 8, that's going to show you the spend in fuel and water. So it goes from, it was 90, it's 91 there and 51 there. If we go 7, it's back to 80, right? So the movement CPAs that you track will spend your fuel and water. And then over here, this is this set of trucks, light, medium, heavy. These are the number of trucks in column K, the number of trucks that I have in that division. And then this keeps track of what they're currently carrying, right? So I've got 112 ammo in medium trucks and 32 ammo in heavy trucks, 250 fuel on heavy trucks, and you can see going all the way across, right? So what I'll do at the end of this turn is I'll send this information to Tim, and he'll update the master spreadsheet, which keeps track of all the logistics that are in the country for the team. And then down here, we've got in each division, there's now these are all breakdown units, so you can actually end up having all these on the board, just like I did here. See this Saharan Camel Regiment or battalion. He was the guy that got pinned at Mileti, and so we left him behind. We detached him, and so his factors would not be included in any combat. And here's the total combat power in this column T here, 63. That's the effective sort of total combat power, including the tank battalion that's attached, the artillery, and the infantry. Each infantry unit you can see here. So here's the 27th Libyan, right? He's got 5, let's call them steps, 5 toe, and then that's going to be his total firepower because it's a 1. I forget where the number is. It's over to the right somewhere. Yeah, max toe is 5. That may not be the actual combat value, but the 5 carries across to here basically, unless there's a multiplier. So, for instance, here with the tanks, they get a multiplier of 3. And that's all built off a table that's all the way over here, the raw numbers from the tables in the game. So he put all this together by division for every division, which is just a massive undertaking. And here's my second Libyan, doing the same thing. Oh, they're the guys that got the adjustment for cohesion, not my guys. So let's make that 0. I nearly made a mistake. That would have been bad. All right, we'll put that like that. Okay, so that's the tables that we use, and then there's a table for air, there's a table for all the spend on that sort of nonsense. It's pretty interesting stuff. Let me get rid of that and come back, and I'll see if I can answer any questions or have you guys laugh at me for being stupid enough to try and play this thing for 5 turns. All right, let's see. Yeah, Kyle had to ask where, of course, we're using the pasta rule, even though it's a naughty joke. Everybody knows that one. The bird sound in the it's not a pterodactyl. No, it's not a pterodactyl, Stigler. How you doing, Stig and Old Chestnut? Good to see you guys. Oh, yeah. So, Stigler, that's a good point, right? It's really a battalion level game with the tactical nuance provided, right? And I think if you really want to understand, if you're interested in understanding, so why am I playing this, right? And why does Clay like it? I know why Clay likes it, because it's crunchy and very, very, very detailed. And to him, that allows him to understand what happens. And I think I'm kind of in the same boat there, but I'm not prepared to do as much work as he is, right? I'm just going to move this, guys. So just bear with me and grab my coffee. You got to understand that if you like, there's one thing to play SCS, right, where you zoom around with your tanks and you always have 9 strength factors and you get to attack and defend and you get a feel for what happened. But if you want to understand why something happened, then that's where systems like this and GOS, I think, are your cup of tea if you're into that. But if you're not into that, then yeah, you definitely don't want to be doing this. And I wouldn't do this solo at all. I've just got a digital copy of the game. I don't have a lot, a physical copy of the game, so I'm not too fussed about whether or not how long we play, but I'll play it as long as the other guys want to play. Just because it's just curiously interesting in a painful kind of way. So there's that, Stig. I probably went on a bit about that, but there you go. I'm trying to read these comments here. Well, the spreads. So I was thinking about this while we were playing. If I was playing with this physically, I would use pollard counters underneath the divisions, for instance, to understand, and I would put all of the counters for that division on the board. And so I'd have a stack of units, and then under each one of those, I'd have a pollard counter if they had taken a loss. So, for instance, with that tank battalion, I would say, I had 7 TOW, so I'd have it rotated to 7, and then when I lost one, I would put it, rotated to 6, and you could keep track of it manually that way. But then you're still going to need to. There are things that you're still going to need to do that would necessitate you referencing the table of equipment for each formation, right? So. For each unit in a formation, because you need to know what the combat value is of a gun or whatever the case might be. And I would imagine you could get pretty darn close by just knowing that most guns have a factor of 3, unless they're super mega something guns, right? I don't really know. I haven't looked at all the TOE in detail. I'm just working on my 2 divisions, and that's about it. What else has Stigler got to say? Yeah, this is indeed the other end of that spectrum. I'm just trying to catch up on all the comments here, guys, and then let's see what we got. You should work in Claystone's rules rewrite. Oh, we already got that, bro. We're done. It's all good. I've got 2 Word documents here with all the errata already inserted. It's awesome. We're cranking. If I had a bigger screen, I could actually play the game on Vassal, look at the charts, and look at the rules at the same time. But I'm roughly familiar with the system from a high level. I read all the general rules, and then you dig into the specifics as you need it. And Clay knows most of it. And we've had a few conversations around the rules about what's right or wrong, and we're working it out as we go through. Yeah, well, here's the cool thing, Mo. When you do this, right? You want to know what you're bringing to the table in the brawl, right? So it's the classic don't bring a knife to a gunfight, right? You can get yourself into a serious amount of trouble in this game if you don't have the right blend of stuff. Oh, Mitch. It's really not that hard. Yeah, it took us 3 hours to get through a whole turn, bro. We could play we could play the African campaign in what? 3 or 4 years. So yeah, look, I'm not saying this is for everybody by any means, but I thought it would be cool just to share with you some of the experience I had last night. There's obviously a couple of very smart people who are doing all the crunchy work. So there's a lot of work that's gone into making this playable for all the dummies like me. So I certainly appreciate it, but it's absolutely not for everybody, right? Oh, Sticks. I don't have a switchblade. I have a Glock, bro. It's all good. Well, Mitch, I think the thing here is that it's get out of here. That it's a lot of time, right? So 4 hours a week. Well, I would probably have to start setting some limits on gameplay time. If we get this down to a 3-hour session on a Thursday for the next 5 weeks, then I'd be down to do that just to have the experience. I think that'd be cool. Yeah, and so this is an interesting point here. I think it's horses for courses, right? So there was a guy that posted on the Wargamers on Facebook talking about, well, and it was some bullshit, post, kind of like one of my posts, actually. No, I'm kidding. I love my posts, but it was a ad really for a company, but he was talking about logistics in games and the things this guy found that he liked about logistics in games, and there were none of the things that I like about logistics in games. But I can also appreciate that depending on the scale and where you're at and what you're trying to do, certain types of logistics, either more detailed or less detailed, make good sense. And so it's just a matter of what the game designer is trying to do, right? Which I think is pretty cool. So let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I would say so. That is a fair point. Clay was awesome last night. And given that it was midnight his time, he just patiently walked through things. And when we called him out on making rules errors and stuff like that, because he's got four of us ganging up on him, he was like, "Oh, show me where that is." Okay, so that was pretty cool. What's Stigler got to say here? I can't read it because the sun. I don't understand why anyone would want to geek out about logistics and stuff like that. Well, here's the thing. So I was playing Ariete, the TCS game, the other day, a few months ago, and it has breakdowns in it, right? So the Italians and the Brits at the platoon, or what we call troop and squadron scale, as the units were moving in to attack across, I think there's 75 meter hexes or 125 meter hexes or something like that, 20-minute turns, or is it a different scale? It might have been longer. I don't know. But you're rolling for breakdowns, and breakdowns were a significant issue in Africa. That's why there's a breakdown rule in this game, right? I wouldn't see if someone created CNA for Europe, I don't think you'd have a breakdown rule necessarily or need one because it wasn't as big a factor going into things. Now, fuel and ammo, I don't, TCS doesn't deal with fuel and ammo because it's given the duration of the game, it's assumed that trucks are able to ferry things forward over a 2-day period and take care of things. But you look at Panzer or MBT, which is single tank action, and if you're using a special type of ammo, you're going to make a roll, right? How much of that's left? And if you fail that roll, then you're going to have a malus on your to hit for that, and that's in a turn cycle that's arguably 2 minutes to 5 minutes. So logistics, sometimes they're abstracted and sometimes they're gritty and detailed. That's all. I think is it's all that stuff, right? Look, you guys are all just chiming in here. Yeah, I think this is one of the great things. Yeah, we are so blessed to have so many fantastic games that across what a 40-year, 50-year time span now that can deliver up anything from freaking Risk, not a war game. Kidding, it is a war game. Risk to this, and you can choose everything in between, which makes it super, super cool. You guys are punching out the comments here. Stigler's always got something to say. What you got, Stigler? Well, look, there are advanced rules for CNA, Stigler, that allow you to determine how many pistons are thrown in a turn. I kid. That's pretty funny. Yeah, and you know what? Here's the cool thing with this. We've got one guy who's running logistics for us, right? So he's got the supply dumps, he's got the trucks, he's got the second and third line trucks that are ferrying, goods from Benghazi and LL, whatever it is, Aligali. He's geeking out on that and having an awesome time with it all. That's not my bag, right? Once I work out how to do that in OCS, I roll the dice to see how many SP I get. I know that I've got this many trucks, and I'll swag it and roll those bad boys up there. I'm not going to micromanage it to get that extra 1T because who wants to do that? And I know I probably just offended 95% of all the OCS players, but I think you gotta find the right people who want to do this. I'm not that guy, but I'm glad I got someone who's doing it. And all I got to do is track what I spend, and it's his problem to get me what I need in the next turn. Chewy, what is going on? Good to see you, my friend. Glad you're here. Yeah, Kenneth, that's interesting because I really was not a fan of the War in Europe system. The spiral didn't, pre-spreadsheet, that was a very painful system to manage and to min-max. And I played against a guy who had what was that early spreadsheet called back in the day, before Excel? He had that. He was a CFO at a firm, and we played, and we were calling bullshit on his calculations because he had more Panzers and more U-boats or whatever it was that you could poke a stick at because he had min-maxed that with an Excel spreadsheet and just crushed us as the Europeans. I think he almost won the whole game. It was a beatdown. Oh, totally, Sticks. Yeah, you got it right. I mean, we're in the realm of Uber Monster, Uber Crunch, and crazy times. Marines do not play SCS, and everyone else plays OCS. Mitchell, that's not very fair. I think it's more that Marines play Risk, but they use a hammer to kill the enemy and break the little pieces. What are you saying, Stick? You don't clip your counters? Then you need to get off the stream right now, bro. Come on. That's because they're too chicken. to build the skill to use the 2mm Oregon, which will never break. Just saying. Let's not get into a counter-clipping argument here. Yeah, Mo, I love this comment because Mo's probably Mo's out there spraying and praying with his M4 or whatever, and then he's going to turn around and he's going to go to his utility belt and go to grab a clip and go, "I got no ammo, man. More ammo," because he didn't pay attention to logistics. All right, let's see what else we got here. You guys are on a mission here. Oh, Kenneth, I'm not. I know nothing about that, but that sounds interesting. Oh, now Mo's backpedaling. Now here we go. There you go. No, you can count to 30. I know you can. 30 is just is a little bit less than 2 packs of MRE snacks. Yeah, so this is interesting, Mitch. I would love to get better at BCS. I fell on hard times with it, with the new set of rules, and I would love to get some game time in with someone who would be interested in explaining some of the nuances there, because I fail to grok what's going on. Well, you guys are just after it. That's funny. Todd, speaking of monster games, Todd is playing. You need to go check his channel out because he is playing Battle for Normandy right now. I've seen 2 videos on the air landings. Oh, Rob, you need to get after it. Come on, it's not that ugly. It's got a certain utility that just makes it makes its own type of beautiful. I think it's religion, don't you, Mitch? I think clipping is a religion, and it's a soothing one. It's very zen. You guys got to get into that action. I sat here by myself, watching the fire, listening to some music, sipping on a nice little bourbon, and I clipped all of Russia Besieged. I clipped the incremental counters for MBT that I needed, and then sat down at the table, laid out all the pieces for Russia Besieged, pondered where they would go, and then clipped information counters while I was doing that. It was very soothing, very relaxing. Or maybe that was the bourbon that was relaxing. I don't know. Thank you, Bruce. As a former tech person and having to grok and grep, I'm glad that I meet your approval with that. This sun is getting quite warm. This is the first really super sunny day we've had here, other than when I first got here. It has rained and been cloudy and cool every day, which has been great for gaming. But yesterday I knew I was playing CNA last night. Yesterday I just pretty much laid around and started rereading Company Commander, which is a great little book, isn't it? Charles B. McDonald. It's a special illustrated edition. It's got a V2 bomber. But it's a great treatise on being a company commander in a narrative form. I really like it. Let's see who else. What do we got going on here? I wish I could make this. There we go. I probably need my glasses. I think that I'm starting to my eyesight is starting to finally fade, and that and the bright light is making it difficult. There you go, Stig. That's great, guys. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. How do we get 26 people? Don't you people have jobs? You need to go work. This is what's wrong with the country. Stop spending your Biden bucks. All right, let's see. Oh, sea landings. Awesome. Todd, I'm super excited for you, man. How's it going? Tell us a little bit more. Give us an update. Well, Mo, we should get Mitch to teach us how to play BCS properly because my elbow keeps falling off the edge of the chair. That would be cool if Mitch would spend some time with us. You know, he's a busy guy, big shot at GMT, big time game designer. One of the Mitch, are you one of 2 or 3 war game designers at GMT? And yes, that is a loaded question. All right, we'll leave that alone. Oh, you guys are so wrong. Look at this. Oh, good for you, Chewy. Glad to see you working, bro. And here's Kenneth. Kenneth said, yeah, he's had enough of that action. That's great. All right. Screw you, Martin. I didn't know you were retired, Martin. I do everything I can to minimize the amount of taxes I pay. Ideally, I get a refund. I thought you'd like that, Mitch. Come on, you know there's only a couple of war game designers there. It's you and Mark Simonich. Well, who else designs war games there? Besides Ralph. He's a developer, really. But let's not get into it. Oh, tell me what's going on with this. What is Mitch doing with ATS? I know that he loves it, but has he got his own YouTube channel? Have I missed something? Whoa. How do you get that gig? You know, I think that's part of my genetic flaw is that I have the penal colony DNA, and I'm just not smart enough to work out having a gig like this or like my brother-in-law who's a multi-millionaire. I don't know how they do it. Seems that obeying the rules doesn't help. I need to stop obeying the rules. There are ATS tournaments? What is this? What is this madness you speak of? What are we told? What is going on? Well, I need a link. What the hell? Are you going to keep this? Are you going to keep that old system alive? Are you going to single-handedly? Why don't you buy that company from him, Mitchell? You're rich. You could do that. Buy it from the old dog. Just say, hey, look, I'll license the products from you and just buy it from him and just reinvigorate that system. I'll jump on board. Actually, no, I won't, but I'll let you promote it on my channel. Where am I finding out about all this stuff? Where are you guys? What is going on? Where is the link? Give me the damn link for the freaking channel. This pisses me off when I don't know things. All right. Well, what else is going on, guys? I am, let's see. Oh, did you want to see, I don't know if you care. I don't know if you want to see any of the charts and tables. It'll probably just make you all throw up in your mouth if I showed you the charts and tables from CNA. So we'll just leave it at that, right? And what time is it? It's 9:20. I need to go probably do the first operations phase for the Korean War. I'm trying to work out in the China intervention scenario. I'm trying to work out, I've got 3 ops or activations that I can run back to back. And I'm trying to min-max my way to, or decide tactically, I guess, really, what my best plan of attack is with these Chinese forces attacking the poor United Nations. So I'm probably going to take off and do that in a minute. Well, ATS is just like ASL, but better, right, Mitch? Oh, did he? Oh, look, we've got another fan. See you, Mitch. ATS, it's Advanced Tobruk system. So it's a derivative of ASL basically, and Todd could probably explain it better than me. I'm talking out the side of my mouth by saying that, but that's what the deal is there. All right, I'm gonna let you guys roll. I'm just checking what's this here. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to let you guys roll, and I'm going to go get some breakfast and start working out how the Chinese are going to beat up on the UN. I'll talk to you guys soon. All the best, and thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I'm impressed that we got this many people this early in the morning up in the mountains. All right, take care. Take care. There's a button here somewhere. We'll press it.